Hey everyone. So we're going to take a moment to talk about something before we get to today's video, which was recorded before the announcement of Russia invading the Ukraine was discovered last night. This is not a political channel. The only political thing I will say is screw anyone who supports Putin. Seriously, just screw those people. Otherwise we don't talk about politics. I try not to get into them. But this is massive, and my heart breaks for the Ukraine people. They are being unjustly attacked by their neighbors, and it was unprovoked. It's just because Putin has a Napoleon complex, or whatever you want to call it. Guy's a dictator. He's mad, in my opinion. And so I just want to take a moment, even though it doesn't mean much, like this is like one of the least subscribed YouTube channels on the internet, but I want to say, look, for whatever it's worth, you guys are in my thoughts and prayers. I really, really hope that everything works out in your favor. I don't know exactly what the chances of fighting back Russia are. I don't know how the U.S. is going to respond. President Biden hasn't even made his speech yet. I don't know if sanctions will work. We just don't know what's going to happen right now. It's all very, very fresh, and it might have even developed more in the short time since this video got recorded and edited and put out. So, you know, God bless the Ukrainians. Screw Russia, or at least Vladimir Putin. I know that the Russian people probably don't want this any more than the Ukraine people want this. But now we're going to get on with our regularly scheduled programming, which again was recorded before all this happened. And so that's all I wanted to say about that. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Entrepreneur. Welcome to my media channel where we talk about physical media streaming and all that jazz in between. And this is an interesting story. But a copy of the Terminator sold for $32,000, a little more than $32,000, on a website called Comic Connect. And you might be scratching your head and going like, okay, so what was that? Was this like a misprint DVD? Nope. Was it signed by Arnold Schwarzenegger? Nope. What was it? It was a graded and sealed VHS tape. And you know kind of how like the Mario 64 sale for like $1 million or $2 like really led the charge into the video game, retro game I should say, sales just exploding like crazy? Now there's questions if this Terminator tape is going to lead to an explosion of people selling VHS tapes at outrageous prices, and we want to talk about that. However, before we do, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel and you like content like this, please do hit the subscribe button, smash that like, and comment below on topics you may want to hear about in the future on this channel. So anyway, let's take a look at this article from Consequence. And I found this to be very interesting. So basically, just to give you some pre-context for what this is, you know how there's grading going on in collector circles. I've got very, very mixed feelings about grading. What is grading and why do people do it? Well, grading is when you take an item and you have a company grade the quality, and they assign a number from 1 to 10. And if it's a 1, that means it's in very poor condition. I don't think they issue much 1s because I think most people are smart enough not to pay for this service if they know that their item is in really terrible shape. But they also can get all the way up to a 10, and 10 is extremely hard to get. There are some people who have actually reported taking Pokemon cards straight out of their packs, putting them in the protective sleeve, mailing off to get graded, and they get like a 9 or a 9.5 because the card got like a little bit of an edge damage when it was being packed in the card in the first place. It's really insane how hard it is to get a 10. And if you have a 10 card or a 10 comic, you can charge a lot of money for those things. Well, they're trying to do this for videotapes. There is a site called IGS, and I mean, of course, they are a general grading company. They want to do comics and baseball cards and stuff. But their whole thing is that they are grading VHS tapes like this. So they give a grade to VHS tape. Obviously, if it's a sealed tape, it's worth more. But the funny thing is, even if it's sealed, it might not be a 10, because if there's like defects on the tape or something like that, then it's going to get knocked down. I actually kind of wonder what happens if it's possible, I should say, to get like an 8 or a 9 graded tape if it's been opened. I just wonder. Anyways, you can see this is like a very old-fashioned, website like Who Grades Tapes. Investment Grading Services is at the forefront of grading VHS. So basically, IGS, has basically created their own business. They have decided, hey, we're going to grade tapes, and right now we're the only ones doing it, and this is what we're going to charge. So basically, they've created a business for themselves. And I mean, as you can see, here's a brand new copy of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze. Hindsight, not as good of the movies I remember it being when I was a kid, but whatever. And it's brand new. You can see that there's, shrink wrap on it, and it gets like a 7.5. So, yeah. So right now they are currently only grading sealed standard size cases: 4K, Betamax, Blu-ray, DVD or Blu-ray, or 4K Steelbooks, Game Boy Advance. So I mean, look, all these things, but they're only grading sealed copies, which is interesting. And this is how much they charge. As you can see, this can be very, very lucrative for them. And I am going to make a video later on what I think about grading tapes. I think that it's a contrived way for basically IGS to create their own business. VHS tapes are really not valuable. At least they shouldn't be valuable, especially like when you grade like a brand new copy of The Lion King on Disney. I mean, I don't know. It's complicated. Like if you're grading like a brand new copy of, say, Home Alone, I don't think that should be worth a lot. There's like over 10 million copies out there. Maybe grading a brand new copy of The Lion King, contradicting myself from what I was just saying, maybe that would be worth a little something, because sealed Disney movies tend to be worth more to collectors, because Disney movies are like by far the hardest to find brand new, because they're usually bought for kids, and kids don't want to collect these things. They want to open them right away and watch them over and over and over again. But anyway, someone got a Terminator video graded. Actually, let's go over here. And as you can see, it sold for $32,500. And it was a 9.5 grade, or on the GEM. I don't know like which number you're supposed to look at, because it also says 8.5 over here. But this was, admittedly, this was probably a little bit rarer. It was the very first release of the Terminator on VHS, or really any home video format. And Terminator has had so many releases on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray. Oh my god, how many DVDs did I buy? Okay, they say 9.95. So anyway, as you can see, it's from Shuin Emi Video or something like that. They're not around anymore. So the box is a 9.5. The seal is an 8.5. They're grading the seal. Give me a break. So anyways, you can see very high marks all around, but it made $32,500. Now, according to this Consequence article, for those who didn't preserve their original copy of the Terminator from 1984, we know now why you cry. A first print VHS of the Arnold Schwarzenegger sci-fi thriller recently sold for $32,500 at an online auction on the vintage marketplace Comic Connect. The item boasted quality gradings between 9 and 10 out of 10 for every inspection category from the physical tape's corners and edges, but still produced an admirable 7 out of 10. COO of Comic Connect, Vincent Zerzolo, told TMZ it was sold in 3 days after being put up for auction. The long-running franchise debuted in 1984 as a low-budget thriller. The most recent, yada yada. So, anyway, none of this is really important. Like, this is the important thing. This is a price tag. So people are like, oh my gosh, like, should I be getting my VHSs graded? Should I be getting ready? Am I sitting on gold if I have brand new video cassettes of popular movies? Well, let us hold on for a minute. Now, here's the interesting thing. There's only one offer for this, and it was $32,500. Now, here's the thing that you should know about that Mario 64 game that sold for a record amount of money, and then there was like some other game a week later that sold for even more. There's a lot of controversy about how valuable those games are. Like, is a brand new copy of Mario 64 really worth over $1 million? Like, that seems crazy when that was one of the best-selling Nintendo 64 games out there. And there's millions of copies of that game out there. Millions. And most of them still work. I mean, granted, this was brand new, it was in the box, that's probably a little bit rare, but over $1 million, it has been suspected, because these things sell very fast, and they usually get, like, a huge offer right out of the gate, that basically buying graded retro games for these large amounts of money is basically a way for rich people to funnel their money. Basically, they create shell companies, if you will. They put this graded game up for auction, then through a shell company, they spend a lot of money, and they basically move their money around for tax purposes. At least that is what has been suspected. And you see something like this, and it's like, I can't prove that that's what's going on, but it really would not surprise me if this is like a tax evasion ploy. Because here's the thing, I'm not going to lie, a brand new copy of the very first release of Terminator that is graded, at least by this company's standards, to be almost a 10, that's unique. I'm not going to lie and say it isn't. But realistically, it should only be worth a few $100s at most. I mean, The Terminator is a movie that has never gone out of print. It is plentiful in used stores and thrift stores. Like, every time I go to a Goodwill or thrift store, there's always a copy of Terminator. This isn't even a particularly rare movie. And there are brand new copies of Terminator everywhere. You go to used, the Wave, I think it is, in Roseville, California, or something, wherever that is. No, Folsom, I'm sorry. And I saw brand new copies of Terminator 2. I mean, are people going to start buying those thinking that they've got like a $50,000 disc? It's probably not worth that. I am very, very suspicious of this. First of all, I am skeptical of VHS grading. I don't think you want to start grading movies. Movies should be watched and enjoyed, not displayed like that. I'm going to make a separate video about that altogether, but I highly doubt that this is worth $32,000. I think that this was a way for some rich person to move some money and evade some taxes, and that's why it is the way it is. Now, again, I don't have any proof of that, but I mean, one offer, like, really, someone saw this and they made an offer of $32,000, their first offer. They didn't want to at least see if they would accept $200. I don't know. Something about this just doesn't make sense. But I would like to know what your thoughts on this are, and I might even talk about this in the podcast that I might be doing this Friday. So anyway, comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.